It is so easy to get bogged down by the headlines, to feel like it's all just bad news out there. But what if I told you that if you look a little closer, there are these incredible waves of positive change happening all around us? We're talking everything from a tiny personal gesture to massive global wins. In this explainer, we're going to follow that ripple effect.
And really, it all kicks off with this simple but honestly super powerful idea. A single, compassionate act, that's not the end of the story. No way. It's the beginning. It's the starting point for something so much bigger.
So, let's start with that first ripple. It begins at the most personal human level, right? We're talking about the simple, often anonymous kindness between two people who just happen to cross paths at exactly the right moment. I mean, just listen to this story from a Reddit user. It's such a simple thing, isn't it? A woman's driving, she sees a kid shivering in the freezing cold, and she just stops, pulls a blanket out of her car. For her, maybe it was just a moment, but for that kid, that became a core memory of pure, selfless care that stuck with them for decades. Or how about this? Picture a guy, alone in a McDonald's, just feeling completely invisible in his own sadness. And a total stranger doesn't just walk on by, he stops, offers a few simple words of hope, and shakes his hand. That was it. That's all it took. In that one small moment, he wasn't invisible anymore.
And sometimes kindness can be, well, brilliantly clever. A neighbor cooks up this whole story about some old tires, just as an excuse to get his friend to a shop, where he'd secretly already bought him a brand new set. It's this incredible, generous act, all disguised as a simple little favor. Amazing.
Okay, so these are fantastic stories, right? Just beautiful moments between individuals. But it begs the question, what happens when you take that same human instinct, that impulse to help, and you get organized? Can that single ripple of kindness actually turn into a huge wave of community action?
The answer is absolutely it can. And we're seeing this happen everywhere. Entire communities are figuring out how to weave those individual acts of generosity together, and when they do, they create something truly powerful.
So what's with this number, 430? Well, this is the number of handmade blankets that were created for a project in Glasgow called Close Knit, and every single one was crafted by a different person from the community. And the whole process is just beautiful. The project took hundreds of individual acts, just people knitting and crocheting in their homes, and brought them all together into this one stunning art installation. It filled an entire hall. But then, and this is the best part, they gifted every single blanket to people who are facing hardship during the cold winter.
Just like Reverend Jan Mathewson said, this project was proof that what might seem like a small, individual skill becomes something incredibly meaningful when you bring it all together. It's literally a patchwork of compassion.
All right, so we've seen kindness from individuals, and we've seen it from communities, but what happens when you take that same spirit and you amplify it? When it's not just backed by a few good people, but by major corporations, by new technology, and by global policy?
Well, this is where we start to see some huge, measurable progress. We're moving beyond heartwarming stories now and into hard data that shows positive change isn't just possible, it's already happening.
And the scale of this is just staggering. Get this, emissions in advanced economies have now hit a 50-year low. If we zoom in on the European Union, they've managed to cut greenhouse gas pollution by 37% since 1990, all thanks to a massive pivot to renewables. You can see they are well on their way to hitting that really ambitious 2030 goal.
And it's not just energy either. That same innovative spirit is being used to tackle food waste. And 2024 saw some incredible progress, all thanks to some really clever partnerships.
Just look at this number, 630 million. That's how many pounds of unsold food just one company, Divert, managed to process. They turned what would have been garbage in a landfill into renewable energy. That is a massive, tangible win. And hey, that progress, it also helps people directly. In Canada, shoppers who used the Flash Food app to buy surplus groceries from Loblaw stores saved a collective $50 million just in 2024. It's a win for your wallet, and it's a win for the planet. You gotta love that.
And all this progress is literally bringing life back to our planet. This right here is the proof that conservation efforts, when we really commit to them, they actually work. The Iberian lynx is no longer endangered. Species that were completely gone from an area are coming back. Heck, even in a huge city like downtown Toronto, eagles are returning.
So this ripple effect is clearly helping heal our planet. That's amazing. But let's bring it all the way back home, to our own bodies and our own minds. How is this wave of innovation and progress affecting our health?
Because this final ripple, well, it's maybe the most personal one of all. We are seeing some absolutely groundbreaking advances that aren't just extending lives, they are fundamentally changing them for the better.
Okay, this is one of the most exciting things happening in medicine, period. In 2024, the first personalized mRNA cancer vaccine entered trials. Yep, the same tech we all got familiar with a few years back is now being used to create a custom vaccine that teaches a person's own immune system how to hunt down and destroy their unique cancer cells. It is truly mind-blowing stuff.
And these breakthroughs are creating moments that feel like miracles. A little girl named Opal Sandy was born deaf because of a rare genetic condition. And after a single gene therapy treatment, she can now hear the world around her. This isn't science fiction, you guys. This is the reality that science is creating right now.
But, it's not all about high-tech labs. The largest ever study on cognitive health just confirmed something incredibly powerful. We have a ton of control over how our brains age. It comes down to 3 key things: consistent exercise, a good diet, and staying socially active. That's empowering, actionable good news for every single one of us.
And this brings us right back to the beginning. This quote, from a pharmacist to a patient picking up their antidepressants, it connects everything. It shows that even in the world of our own health, that first ripple of simple kindness and human empathy, that's what makes all the difference. It's the human heart behind all the progress.
So, from a stranger's blanket to a community's warmth, from a recovering planet to a medical miracle, the evidence is all there. Every major wave of positive change begins as a single small ripple. So the only real question left is, what ripple will you start?